Jim, that's a good-looking rifle you've got there. That's the M40A5, built by Tactical Rifles?
Yes, it is. It's a 308. I had it built about 5 years ago from Tactical Rifles, and it's an absolute tag driver. It shoots very remarkably.
Now, you just recently competed in a military and law enforcement sniper competition. You use that rifle?
I did. This was my primary rifle. I do almost everything with it. I hunt with it, I shoot competitions with it, I recreational shoot with it.
Fantastic. Now, does that live up to the half MOA guarantee?
This rifle actually has never shot a half minute. It's never shot that bad.
It's never shot that big, huh?
That's right.
Now, you obviously have a lot of strong opinions about what it takes to have a good, solid, quality bolt-action gun. What do you look for? If you had the perfect gun, you said, you know, I'm going to design the perfect bolt-action rifle, what would you put on it? What features would you use?
Well, the things I look for a lot is the solid action. And there's two forms of actions that they use to build their guns on. This happens to be a Remington 700 action.
Okay.
They do have a new stainless steel action. That is their proprietary action.
That's awesome.
That is an upgrade. But this action is a 700 action. It has been hand laid, and it is as smooth as silk.
Now, what can you, if a guy were to pick up a rifle, a guy were to go into a gun shop and pick up a rifle, open the bolt, and it doesn't come out, it drags, what does that tell you about the gun right there?
Well, basically it tells me that it was made too quickly. You know, this thing was mass produced, it was put on a machine, it was run through, and no one individual picked that rifle up, worked the bolt to see if it actually worked properly.
Okay. As far now this particular gun has a brake on that. It has a muzzle brake on the end.
Correct.
Is that something that you would use just for competitions, or would you use that for dedicated, long-range precision marksman? What would the advantage be of putting that on there?
The biggest advantage for me that I use the brakes for is muzzle reduction. This rifle is a bit heavy. It's about 17 pounds, and with this brake on it, looking through my Leopold scope with the TMR, it's got the broken center crosshair. Off of bipod, I can actually see a hole open underneath my reticle when I shoot.
You can spot your own hits with that.
You can spot your own hits, and then you can basically re-engage your target as fast as you can manipulate the bolt. So there's no fighting for the follow-up.
Now, as far as magnification power on an optic goes, you know, if some guy, let's say you've got a guy at home and he never plans on shooting beyond 300 yards, does that guy really need a 20 magnification scope?
Not at all. The basic hunter that's going to be a 300 meter and in, 300 yards or in shooter, they can get away with a 1 to 4 power, 1 to 5 power. It's not going to hinder them. A lot of law enforcement guys really like a high power so they can get an absolute positive identification of their targets. And then, of course, long-range shooters to see more of their target at a longer range. So really, the optic that you pick for your rifle is going to be very user-specific and mission-specific.
Okay. When you pop open the cap there and we look at the objective lens, how important is objective lens size toward light gathering?
There's a lot of myths on that, actually. The larger the objective lens is, basically gives you a bigger field of view. Any scope has a certain amount of light transition, and it depends on what type of light it actually transmits through your scope that your eye can read. A lot of manufacturers will tell you that they have a 100% light transmission. Well, every scope transmits light 100% because the light comes through it. It's the type of light that your eye can actually pick up on is what you're trying to transmit. And generally speaking, with most scopes, a 1-inch tube will give you all of that. What you gain in the 30mm tube with a larger objective lens is you get a larger field of view and you get more traverse for your crosshairs. So
the difference between a 1-inch tube and a 30mm tube, it's not really the light transmission, it's more the adjustability of it.
That's correct.
Okay. That's fantastic. Now, for a crosshairs, you mentioned earlier that you like to use an open crosshair so you can actually see the target itself.
I've used a lot of different reticles, and the TMR reticle that Leopold's building right now, the center of the crosshair is actually missing, and it's about the diameter of an actual an actual bullet. And what that allows you is to see exactly where you're going to shoot. I mean, this rifle is precise enough at 100 yards. I want to see exactly where my bullet's going. So
the center of the X,
the
essentially.
absolute center of the X. So I have a target from yesterday, actually.
Can you show the audience?
Sure, it's right over here.
This guy right here.
So this is a 100-meter cold bore target fired during competition, and you can see there's a 1, a 308 hole, and a 0, and that was the first round fired of the day through this rifle.
And now this is actually a target they use for the competition, so your first shot's got to go between the two little girls?
That's correct.
What's up with this guy right here?
That was an inferior firearm.
An inferior firearm? All right, fantastic. But this is the shot that you took a cold bore with that rifle right there.
That's correct.
Right between the two little girls? Yep. Perfectly safe. Fantastic. Well, Jim, thank you for taking some time with us today. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
And thank you for your service to our nation.
Thanks. Appreciate it.